Hey guys, this is going to be a map chat on Live Oaks, starting off with the south and light tanks. At the very beginning, one of the strongest places you can get to and rush to is directly as soon as it starts, wash up, get into this area and get down into this area to light everything over here. If something you run the risk of being pushed on and
Besneyepnu,
killed.
you gotta follow. How nice.
Okay, turn off the notifier. Alright, so you run the risk of getting spotted lit here. If you do, then just you're shit out of luck, really, honestly, because you're relying on your tanks to take them out once they get lit. So it's very risky to get into this area, but getting early lights into this is pretty strong. Um, Other than that, one of the strongest places to get to early is actually down into this bowl. I don't really see a lot of people do this, and I'm not quite sure why. If there's a lot of arty, it makes it more risky, but for the most part, what this allows you to do is gives you somewhere to hide and allows you to constantly spot anything that's over that gets that's over in this area. You'll be able to see directly all the way back to this line and light it. And if you play any TDs and you ever go on this hill, lighting, getting lights early and for long periods of time on this area is extremely strong because you're going to get all your TDs, all your artillery getting easy shots onto tanks trying to get in the city. So it's really strong. Then obviously once they all push in the city and it's time to get out, you just get unspotted, then rush up to the back here and get over top of this hill. Make sure you're still unspotted, then get back here. Then you continue your assault onto lighting, back into this area. Shoot onto the light tanks, or onto the medium tanks, or in heavy tanks that are in the city. TDs, whatever's in the city, you'll get into this area and shoot onto it. Or if there's not, their south is pushing really hard, you can always push around low, get up over top, take out their artillery. It's very versatile maps for light tanks and things that you can do. It's also going to be a lot of camping on this map, so you have to be careful as a light tank. The other option is to immediately from the start rush in, get behind these houses and try to light that way. So I feel that this is a little bit more risky. It does provide a little bit better cover from artillery, but you can also get hit easy when you try to go around and light, and you can't light as long because when they're lit, you're going to be lit, and it's hard to go back around the corner when they know where you're coming. So lighting there, always an option as well. And same thing, once they're pushing the city, take shots, don't die, and then push around if you see an opportunity to do it, and get their arty. All right, moving on to tank destroyers. At the very beginning, tank destroyers with no gun depression, always welcome onto this hill, or this hill at the very start. Not so much this hill, I don't think, but this hill is usually really well, or does really well as far as getting shots to this area. Once you get lights pop up, get as many shots in as you can, and then proceed to move in the city. The thing I see often and way too often, it's understandable if you don't have many heavies in the city, then I probably wouldn't move in because you're stronger to support from here. But if you have a ton of heavies into the city, push in and support your heavies, because that means that battle's going to be dragged out. And if you're in the city helping your heavies, you're going to do much better, have a larger chance of winning than you would sitting back here on the hill waiting for one of the heavies to fuck up. So at the very beginning, sitting on hill, if you're losing city or you don't have very many heavies compared to how many heavies they have in city, I would stay on hill. I wouldn't, go into face heavies head on unless you're guaranteed the win. So other option, and probably the option better for TDs with good gun depression, is to get back here or back here and shoot the stuff that gets lit over here and get ready to push down and across and get into this area to push up. Um, if you're getting pushed back, then sitting back here into cover, probably more better to sit right here and shooting stuff as it tries to come around. If you can sit in this spot and stop stuff from coming over this hill and make them forced to come around this way, so your TDs that are right here or your mediums can take shots, that's the way you want to do it. That's pretty much it for tank destroyers. Moving on to mediums. Again, in a medium, doing the same thing as the scout, either right here or right here from the north, or from the south, rushing up. One of these lines, you have to be in a fast medium to get there before you get spotted, but rushing up, keeping these lit, fighting whatever comes around at you. Um, all great options. And that's pretty much it on the play on mediums. You're either sitting either here or you're pushing south. Um, Heavy tanks do not go south unless you have great gun depression, E5 gun depression, and much to like of that. Otherwise, city. Immediately from the start, push in, get behind this area, and get in the city. Either get up into this area to push around this corner, or get back into this area to push around this corner. That's where you want to be. You could sit back in this corner if you have E100 or something to shoot down into this area if you want. But you got to push city, but you need to stay already safe, and you need to not be exposed in this middle line. And I guess, like I said, unless you're at E100 and you're side scraping this building on the very back corner, that's fine. That's pretty much what you're trying to do as a heavy. Again, if you're an E5 or something like that, this bottom corner is pretty decent as well. You could be able to look over this bottom corner, stay pretty much hold down and take shots. So that pretty much covers that for heavies. Let's move on to the other side. This map's pretty straightforward, so this isn't not going to take too much longer. Light tanks. Same as before, pushing in to this area into the buildings. You don't have that neat little dip, but you do have these buildings, and trying to get to the middle road to get lights onto the hill. Best thing you can do. You won't really be able to get lights from here, but at the very beginning you can light across. It won't help much. Some of your heavies will be and TDs will be able to stop to take shots, but for the most part, it's not going to help too much. So getting in here and lighting this hill usually works out really well because your artillery and any TDs you have and or mediums you have in this area, a chance to shoot at them from the hill or onto the hill. Then again, south, rushing in, either sitting behind this bush to light the stuff rushing in, or going all the way in and using this to light. Two options you have: either sitting behind that bush or pushing in. Again, that bush is right here, right in the middle of the square, and you'll just sit behind it and try to light everything. Right, that pretty much covers that for lights again. Moving on to tank destroyers. I have a tank destroyer or two going into the houses right here to help destroy the tanks on these hills, or shoot the heavies that get out of position over here is always a great option as well. Sitting behind these buildings and shooting down this line, because tanks will mess up and give you clean shots, especially if at the very beginning of the match as they rush in all the way from south. You can usually sit on the side of this embankment and wait for them to try to push across and then get a free shot or two off at the very beginning. You definitely want to be heavily armored if you go into the city, and you definitely want to hold a hard flank. So that would be this corner, so you stay already safe, or directly onto that building. So what you'll do is you'll rush in just like normal. You either get onto there, or you'll immediately cut from this building and cut across and get behind these buildings. And you'll just be shooting at everything that's in the open. This place is definitely a little bit more risky. If your team is not being aggressive, you're going to get stuck out here by yourself, which you definitely don't want. But if they are being aggressive, then it's really strong, because your heavies will flush out everything out of this area, so give you free shots. Going south, same thing. You definitely want to have some kind of gun depression, some mobility. So get behind the bush, take a shot, or push in and get ready to push up this side to put pressure, is what you're looking to do from the south. Right, moving on to mediums. Same thing as light tanks. Either get behind these buildings and light across, or push south. Sit behind the bush, or push into the middle and get ready to push up this side. You don't ever really want to push up this side on either side, just for the simple fact that their TD is back here. If you get lit, and you will get lit, see you, you're going to get wrecked really easily. Mediums they have over here will be able to hit you as well, so pushing this side is always the best bet. Alright, heavy tanks. Again, the only thing that really should be down here is heavy tanks with good gun depression, mediums, and mobile TDs. Otherwise, everything else immediately pushing up into city. Either you stop here, which is, isn't that great because you end up blocking, especially if there's a bunch of heavies. If there's a bunch of heavies, just push all the way through. Get to this building on A2 and get ready to defend that. And that's pretty much all you're doing. And like I said, as a heavy, you're immediately going to sit back here and wait until you know what's over there, or you're going to immediately push in and get ready to push up. So really the only two things you're going to do with the heavy. So hope you guys enjoyed.